Hi, Phil Schoenberg, Fastpitch Power. Many of the posts that we do are in direct response to followers' questions about various issues having to do with either the development of a windmill pitcher or a specific pitch or some of the general mechanics. But there's no question or no topic that elicits more questions than forearm fire. And we recently had a question from one of our followers, Jose, who said and asked, can you please give me a breakdown, a more detailed step-by-step breakdown of forearm fire, because our pitchers are having difficulty generating the 6 to 12 spin that you talk about in your forearm fire posts. So I'm going to try my best to answer that question. I'm going to try to break down the movement of forearm fire as slowly as I possibly can and show where that 6 to 12 spin comes from. Now, the 6 to 12 spin is what we call four-seam rotation. And you hear about it all the time in Major League Baseball. A pitcher throws a really good four-seam fastball. And the same thing is utilized, or the same mechanics are utilized when we're talking about windmill pitching. First thing we start with in determining the ability of a pitcher to throw consistently fastballs we're talking about now with four-seam rotation. It's the type of pitch and this type of rotation that is going to have the ball track and spin most directly to the line that the pitcher is trying to hit. So we start with a grip which we call a C grip. And if you can see here, the seams make a C. And if I put my thumb here and my hand here, I'm going to create a little C in the corner of my hand. Hopefully you can see that. That is a four-seam grip. So if I'm a baseball pitcher and I come over the top with that four-seam grip and I let that ball go, four seams are going to be tumbling. In the case of a baseball pitcher, it is also going to be from 6 to 12, 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock, going to be tumbling and moving really quickly and spinning really fast toward its target. Same thing with windmill pitching. I'm going to have that C grip, and when I snap my wrist here, if I snap forward like a baseball pitcher would throwing a four-seam fastball, I'm going to get that really tight four-seam spin. So how do we relate that spin to forearm fire? It's actually very simple. And I tell a lot of the girls who come, oh, we're struggling with forearm fire, we don't know how to do it, we were taught to do this, we were taught hello elbow, we don't know how to do that. Okay? So I will say, well, you know what, warm up a little bit overhand before we start going into the drills for developing forearm fire in your windmill pitch, and I'll just stand on the side and wait for you to warm up. While they're doing that, I will take a video of them. And then when they're finished, I will tell them, you know what, I'm telling you that you are doing perfect forearm fire right now. And they go, well, we've never done forearm fire, that's why we're here. We're here to learn it. And I show them a picture or a video that I just took of them throwing overhand. And they're all doing it exactly the way you would do it windmill style. Elbow leads to the back of the throw zone for an overhand throw or pitch. Elbow leads, forearm lags, snapping forward and continuing to finish my throw. So if I'm throwing from the outfield and I want to get a runner out, tagging up at second base and going to third, I'm going to take my hand. If I slow it down, my elbow's going to lead, my forearm's going to lag, I'm going to snap, I'm going to create that four-seam spin going to my target, and I'm going to get a ball that's going to go on a straight line to where I want it to go. Exactly the same thing occurs in windmill pitching. When I get halfway down the back of the circle, elbow down, palm up, I take my elbow and it goes to the back of the throw zone, right here. My throw zone's pointing at my target. My elbow leads, my forearm lags, right here. You can see my forearm sticking behind me, my hand still behind me, even as my elbow gets to the back of the throw zone. From here, there is going to be extension of my elbow. My elbow can do two things. It can flex, it can extend. Right here, it's going to extend. Sort of like if there was a piece of wood here, I was going to chop through it like a karate champion. And my wrist is relaxed. If my palm stays up coming down the backside of the circle, and I extend right here, you can see what's happening as I extend. My wrist is snapping and my fingers are pointing forward. If I have my ball in my hand with the correct grip, I'm going to get that really tight 12 to 6 four-seam rotation. The problem that some developing pitchers trying to transition from hello elbow or some other delivery style to forearm fire is they see in our posts and they watch some pitchers who are doing forearm fire and throwing the ball 67, 68, 70 miles an hour. They're seeing those pitchers and they're seeing them finish in this position. So they put more importance on having their hand be in this position than they do on the actual dynamics of the forearm fire, forward wrist snap, acceleration, and relaxation. My hand turns over because I relax it at the end of my throw zone. Snap, accelerate, relax. A lot of developing pitchers will take their shoulders and put their hand here. And when they put their hand in that position, watch what happens. I'm coming down the backside. Good position to throw forearm fire. Now, with good forearm fire, I want to extend and snap forward. But here, they're too concerned about getting their hand into that finished position, and they come to the back of the throw zone, and they take their hand, and they put it here. You've eliminated that lower arm whip when you do that. Your shoulder is what's taking your hand and putting it into this position. You can tell you've done that because my elbow is now pointing there instead of down to the ground where it would be if I did forearm fire correctly. And in doing that, my hand's coming around the ball and creating a funky sideways spin. I'm not getting that true four-seam rotation. Now, there's some pitchers who have developed forearm fire so well that they don't mind coming. They play with it a little bit. Okay, maybe they're going to throw a two-seam fastball instead of a four-seam fastball, and that will have the ball move and spin in a different way than a four-seam pitch will. But the mechanics and the dynamics of forearm fire to create true four-seam rotation down the pitching lane to your target remains the same. I come down the backside of the circle, come up the front side, come down the backside, elbow down, palm up, forearm lag. From here, I'm going to extend and snap. I'm not tensing up here. My wrist is nice and relaxed so I can get really good snap in here. I'm going to accelerate to the end of the throw zone, and I'm going to relax. And my hand ends up in this position because if I hold my hand here like this and just relax my whole arm, that's what happens. It flops all by itself. So when you're looking to create or you don't see true four-seam rotation in your forearm fire, a number of things can create that, but what we see more often than not, it's the pitcher trying to get their hand, the pitcher transitioning from hello elbow to forearm fire in this position, and they're too concerned about that end and finish position, more concerned than they need to be, it's going to happen all by itself, than they are getting that really good extension, forward snap, and acceleration down the throw zone. Jose, I hope that this has been useful. If you have any further questions about this, please do not hesitate to ask us, and we will try our best to answer it. Any of you who have any comments relative to your developing forearm fire or any difficulty you're having transitioning to forearm fire, please let us know, and we'll do our best to help you as well. Talk to you next time.